We've all heard of stories of famous ocean liner disasters, such as the sinking of the Lusitania, Titanic, Empress of Ireland, and more. But what if I told you about a ship that was abandoned because the crew thought she was going to founder? Yet somehow she managed to drift in the ocean abandoned for over 38 years. Stay tuned to find out the story of the SS Baychimo. The SS Baychimo was launched in 1914 by the Lindholmens Mekaniska Verkstad shipyard in Gothenburg, Sweden, beginning her life under the name of SS Ungramoffen. The Ungramoffen was used as a trading vessel between Germany and Sweden during the First World War. After the war ended, Ungramoffen was given to the British for war reparations. Then in 1921, the Hudson's Bay Company purchased the ship and renamed it Baychimo. The Baychimo would now be used to deliver cargo between her home port of Ardrossan, Scotland, and ports along the northern coast of Canada and Alaska. Between 1921 and 1930, the Baychimo completed 9 voyages to the Arctic and delivered cargo, but this all ended in 1931. On October 1st, 1931, the Baychimo was heading back to Ardrossan when the ship got stuck in pack ice. The crew decided to briefly abandon the ship and would come back later. They walked about a half a mile to the Alaskan town of Barrow to shelter for 2 days. When the crew came back on October 3rd, the Baychimo had broken free from the ice and was adrift. On October 15th, the Hudson's Bay Company sent an aircraft to pick up the 22 crew members, but 15 of them refused to leave the Baychimo behind. Since the Baychimo was too damaged to go back inside, Hudson's Bay Company brought the crew supplies to build a shelter outside the Baychimo and would provide them with provisions. On November 24th, a blizzard struck the area and forced the crew to take cover in their shelter. When the blizzard was over, the crew saw that the Baychimo had disappeared. The crew thought the ship had sunk during the storm. However, a few days later, an Inuit seal hunter came to the area and told the crew that he saw the Baychimo about 45 miles south from where it was. The crew realized that the ship was too damaged to survive the winter. The crew retrieved the last bit of cargo in the ship's hold and abandoned the ship. Later in the winter, the Baychimo was spotted about 300 miles east from where it was abandoned. And this was the first of at least a dozen sightings of the Baychimo for several decades. In March 1932, a man named Leslie Melvin was heading to Nome, Alaska with his sled dogs when he spotted the ship floating near the shore, which is crazy since Nome, Alaska is about 520 miles away from where the Baychimo was abandoned. A couple months later, some prospectors spotted the ship. In March 1933, a group of people found and boarded the Baychimo. However, another blizzard struck the area and forced them to take shelter inside the Baychimo for 10 days. In August 1933, the Hudson's Bay Company heard the ship was afloat but couldn't salvage her because she was too far out at sea. In July 1934, some explorers on a schooner boarded the ship. In September 1935, she was once again seen off the Alaskan coast. In November 1939, Captain Hugh Polson boarded the ship to try to salvage the vessel, but there were too many ice floes surrounding the ship, so Polson had to abandon her. During World War II, sightings of the Baychimo had slowed down, but she has been seen several times after 1939. In 1962, a group of Inuit spotted the Baychimo along the coast of the Beaufort Sea. The last recorded sighting of the Baychimo was in 1969. The Baychimo was abandoned in 1931 and she was last seen in 1969, meaning she was adrift in the ocean unmanned for 38 years. If the Baychimo was still afloat today, she would have been adrift in the ocean for more than 90 years. But after that, no more sightings of the Baychimo were made. People thought the Baychimo had finally sunk, but there is no evidence of any sighting of the Baychimo after 1969. In 2006, the Alaskan government created a project to solve the mystery of the Baychimo, but nothing was ever found. It's still unknown today how the Baychimo managed to not sink after 38 years in the ocean, but its fate is still unknown to this day. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.